4, 4, 2, dudes.
Oi.
Why hello to you, my man. I am Benjamin and he is Jonathan. We are the 442 dudes.
Oh, you laugh until like that.
Carry on.
You know, I'm just embracing it. And hello, welcome to another episode of 442 Dudes. He's trying his best. But in any case, you know, we embrace all forms of diversity.
Yes.
So just in case, you know, you happen to be from Jamaica, Nigeria, watching this, we want to say hello to you. They call this the dashiki, I believe. So, you know, I'm proud to wear this dashiki.
See, you scared. Where's my ball, Nigerian scammer? Where's my ball?
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of the ball, you know, the reason why the balls are not here today, that's because we've already reached the final episode for this season. Thank you everybody for watching our episode. Yeah.
Yes, thank you
I laugh
so
until
much.
I'm gonna die already. But yeah, don't forget, you know, to follow our other episodes as well. If you haven't been following our previous episodes, our first one, don't forget 442 Dudes. You know, we have a lot of the episodes. Go and watch them. Most importantly, don't forget to smack that subscribe button. I promise I'm not scamming you. I'm just saying. He's dying. He can't stand me wearing this. So again, don't forget, subscribe. We'll come back with our next one. Then the segment is called, what's the next segment? Damn it.
90 minutes off.
Yeah, 90 minutes off, huh?
Yes, see you soon.
I promise I do not scam you.
Alright guys, I've calmed down. Much better now.
Hopefully.
No more laughing, no more tears. I wiped them dried already. But anyway, welcome to this segment called 90 Minutes Off. And for today's episode, we are going to focus on the end of season honor roll.
Ding-a-dang.
So we'll be looking at a few categories, and I think we'll kickstart the first category with the best manager.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, but before you go in there, right, I just want to share with you guys. There are some candidates that we felt probably, you know, they probably be winners of some of the multiple categories. But to make it more interesting, we felt that they can only win one category.
Yeah, to be very fair.
Yes, there you go. All right, so let's kickstart. Best manager.
Yeah.
Ben, let's go.
Well, okay, for me, before I name my best manager, I have to give a special mention first, okay? So before I let everyone know who my choice for best manager of the season, my special mention has to go out to Phil Parkinson of Wrexham. I think he's done a fantastic job. Given with the players that he has, he gelled them together, and and eventually they got promoted. So I gotta give a special mention to Phil Parkinson. But
promoted with the highest number of points.
Correct. With that as well. But to me, this guy takes it all. I might be a little biased here, but I'll explain why. I think the best manager of the season for me goes to Jose Mourinho of Roma. Why? Why do I say that? That's because, you know, I think for every club that he goes to, you know, he's killing it. I'm just saying, he's killing it. People say that he's washed out, he's done, he's no longer the special one. But whatever it is, I'm just saying, he's winning it with a lot of the clubs he's been, except for Spurs. But yeah, you know,
he brought Spurs to the final.
He did.
Don't forget that.
He did. But with Roma now, you know, not only have they won last year the Europa Conference League, but this year they may have that possibility of doing two things in the finals. One is not just winning the Europa League, but also finally perhaps dethroning Sevilla. Because Sevilla has been a strong contender. And in our previous episode, you know, I've been saying that Sevilla is like the Real Madrid of Europa League. I'm pronouncing it right.
Yes.
I know. I learned. Maybe because of dashiki. Anyway, well, who is your manager of the season?
Who is my... Okay. So my manager of the season is Roberto De Zerbi. Okay, so... Likewise, I think there are a few candidates I was thinking about. Obviously, Pep Guardiola.
Okay.
But why I chose De Zerbi over Pep or even Arteta is very simple. I look at expectations versus the achievements that they've done this season. So when we think of Man City, we think of winning it's almost a given that they'll win the Premier League, right? And because they bought Haaland, everybody expected them to be in the final, back in the finals of the Champions League. So in a way, it's kind of expected, right? The FA Cup, I think they've always been very strong in the cup games. So for Man City to be, you know, on the verge of winning a treble, I think that's more or less expected, right? Whereas for Brighton, it's a different story altogether, right? And don't forget, De Zerbi came into the English game as an unknown, right? Everybody wrote him off, right? Who are you? Why are you hiring guy? And they just Potter just left for Chelsea at the point of time. So for De Zerbi to come in, take whatever Potter left behind and actually improve the squad, and then and actually qualifying for Europa, I thought that is, to me, it surpasses all the other managers, including Eddie Howe. Because I really thought about Eddie Howe as well.
Yeah, you
but
do.
I think in terms of expectations,
which is why I'm quite surprised.
So that's why I say expectations versus achievements. Wow. I think De Zerbi totally triumphs over all the other managers.
Wow.
I mean, you just think about it, right? Well, Brighton basically lost all their players, right? They lost Bissouma, they lost Trossard, they lost Maupay, Mwepu was retired halfway, Cucurella went to Chelsea, but they brought in a lot of unknowns. Estupinian was fantastic this season. Yeah. Caicedo came up. Mitoma was fantastic this season. Welbeck kind of like was revitalized. They brought in Billy Gilmore. They also brought in some Argentinian youngsters, right? Bonate and Ciso, from Paraguay, I think, right? And also the local Evan Ferguson, the striker, has been scoring
quite good. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not just about winning games though, but they are playing such
with passion, with gusto, and
how do I say, the football on display by Brighton is just brilliant. I love watching Brighton right now.
I mean, if you want me to also add on, if you don't mind me chiming in, I think it's to put it in the way, I think they have evolved from a mid-tier team to now a top 4 contending team, and which congratulations to them, they are that close.
Okay, yeah.
If you ask me, they're that close.
Right, so those were our candidates for manager of the season. Let's move on to the next category, and this is best player.
Okay.
So who is best player?
Well,
for you?
I started it now. Let's hear from you. I mean, who will be your player of the season?
Well, for me, it's very straightforward. Okay. Erling Haaland.
Oh.
I think I think this name, I don't think anybody will dispute.
Yeah.
To be very frank.
Okay.
For obvious reasons, right? He's the highest goal scorer in all competitions across all the football leagues in the world.
And a young lad.
Yes, and it's only 22. He has 52 goals this season. And the last time we heard about such numbers was when Ronaldo and Messi were in their prime. Right? Even they've been hyping out Mbappe, but Mbappe only has 40 goals this season. So I think this is something that, and I also want to add on.
Okay.
He came into the Premier League. This is his debut season.
Yep.
He basically just wiped out all the records that's been there from the start.
Oh yeah, in the debut season.
Exactly, in his debut season. And he's the scariest part is he could have scored a lot more, even not because of Pep wanting to protect him.
Right.
If you remember, there was a period of time, I think for a month or so, he was only playing 60 minutes per game. And in those 60 minutes, he scored 2 goals, he scored 3 goals, he scored 4 goals. Pep said, no, enough. So can you imagine the number that he could have hit? If
could have increased.
If Pep didn't want to protect Messi. If Pep didn't want to protect Haaland. Right? So I thought there's no competition, really.
Oh, so therefore, who's yours? Well, mine has to be quite different, I think, I would have thought myself to pick Erling Haaland as well. But I think after going through it, I felt, and I've mentioned his name before, and I have no idea how to pronounce his name, but it's okay. Bruno Guimaraes. I think
Newcastle.
I think he deserves to be my player of the season. I think if you look at it, with every game that he participated, stats have shown Newcastle rarely loses.
When he's playing.
Yeah, when he's playing. When he's in the squad. When he's in the squad. They've been quite good. He's been the backbone of it, his passes. And I think just his foresight of the game. And there's something about him that brings passion. I've been following some of his social media posts, and I think that, if I'm not wrong, there was even one with him bringing the toddler around. And he has a picture of the Newcastle home. And it says in the caption, it says home. Home. And to him, he calls it home.
Wow.
So I feel that if anything new, we talk about how Newcastle is now banging it, all the way, bringing back top 4 and the glory of the Champions League, perhaps. And if you're a Newcastle fan, it's a great time to be alive, because you finally see them out of that zone and down their top 4. But I think it really boils down to, all the players that they bought, equally done well. But I think really the backbone of it is Bruno Guimaraes. So therefore, he's my player of the season.
That's true.
Yeah. So we talked about the player of the season. Now let's go a little bit more younger.
Okay.
The young player of the season. Now who's going to be your young player of the season?
Okay, before I go there, I think I forgot to mention something about best player.
Yes.
So I just want to give a special mention to Harry Kane.
Oh, why?
Because if it's not because of Haaland, I think we'll be praising Harry Kane to the heavens.
Right, and which is the English media sort of thing.
Exactly, correct. Okay. Yeah, he has scored 28 league goals this season. He has really broken the Spurs record. He's now only second behind Shearer in all-time Premier League goal scoring record. So, if it's not because of Haaland, Kane
we could have been focusing on Harry Kane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now let's coming back to the best young player. Okay, for me, I thought really, really very hard for this.
Okay.
In fact, I kept changing my answer.
Yeah.
But I think I found, in my opinion, the correct answer.
And who would that be?
So my answer is Jude Bellingham.
Wow.
Jude Bellingham of Dortmund. And here's my reason why. I think Jude Bellingham has basically, to steal your word, right? Irony, right? Since you're the Nigerian scammer today. But to steal your word, okay, I think he has evolved this season.
Okay.
Right? To a point where he has become such a focal point, such an important aspect of the team that whichever team he goes to, he is going to just basically improve any team in the world. And I see any team.
Okay, so will you equate that to the same sort of success that Haaland brings?
Yes, that's why I thought about Bellingham.
Okay.
No, if you really think about it, so for Dortmund this season, they lost Haaland. Don't forget, Sancho left last season as well to join Man United, right? And they actually brought in Sebastian Haller, to come and replace Haaland. But because of whatever reasons, he couldn't play. I'll talk about it later. Right, so they basically the weight of responsibility fell on his young shoulders, but he rose to the challenge.
Yep.
Dortmund did well in the Champions League. They are now one win away from winning the Bundesliga. Exactly. Close. So, and don't forget his performances for England in the World Cup. In my opinion, he's probably England's best player in the World Cup. So, to me, I think he deserves to win the best young player.
Wow. Okay, so you're going with Bellingham.
Yep.
I'm going with someone who sort of, again, I have a thing for people who when appearing in stats, they sort of have this thing where the team doesn't lose at all. And I'm going to mention this guy now, Rafael Leao of AC Milan, 23 years old guy.
Yep.
Okay. Well, whenever he plays in the Milan team, you see his name in the team sheet. Milan rarely loses. Let's take, for example, when, up against, say, Liverpool. When he wasn't in the squad, they lost. When he was in the squad, they won. So, I think there's an impact that he has. And we don't just focus on that as well. We focus on the league itself, the Serie A. Pronouncing it right again. I'm telling you, it's the dashiki. It's the dashiki.
Okay.
Anyway, so moving to that, really, I think in his performance so far, decent amount of goals, not the top, but decent amount of goals. I mean, a little bit of injury here and there, but still managed to come back from that. And last season he was doing quite well. This season, not as great in my opinion, but picked up himself. And because of that, I think Milan is where they are. They unfortunately didn't go through. It was Inter Milan who went through in the end, but I thought AC Milan, in my opinion, they did what they could, and Leao,
But AC Milan were the reigning champions, though.
They won
Serie A last season, but
this season, correct. But because of that, I don't want to put the blame on Leao itself. But to me, he's still the young player of the season for me.
Okay.
Because we're focusing on young player. So therefore, I think, I think he stands out.
Well, fair enough. So do you think, I think my question right now is, so I think a lot of talk has been about Mbappe and Haaland being the next two. They're going to take over Messi and Ronaldo in the Ballon d'Or.
The whole hype and all that.
So do you think it's just really going to be Mbappe and Haaland?
I'm going to say something that may not float in certain people's head. There is no Mbappe. There is only Haaland. That's my take. There is no... For this season alone, there is no Mbappe.
We're not talking about this season alone. We're talking about in the future.
I think if you're going to talk about the future...
We're going to talk about longevity.
If you're going to talk about that, to me, Haaland is still going to be way ahead only because not only is he young, I'm saying this from a person who's not even supporting Man City.
Is also young.
Yeah, they're both young, but so Haaland's a little bit younger than that.
Just 2 years, which is the same as Ronaldo and Messi.
But he still has the edge, right? But this is why I'm going to say Haaland is a team player. Mbappe doesn't seem to
be.
To me.
But in terms of goal scoring records, right? Mbappe is second.
He's
second. 40 goals,
second. But PSG doesn't really do that.
He literally carried France to the World Cup final.
Yeah, he did. But for PSG wise, if you're again talking about the whole thing, I don't see it.
Wow, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, this is really quite a big statement to make.
That is my big statement. But I'll tell you where Haaland fits. Haaland fits in the next category for me, the best signing of the season. I feel he is by far the best signing of the season. Not necessarily the best player. Only two reasons why. Number one, he's already very good before he came to Man City. So we already expect him to do some form of impact. And number two, again, I said team player. That's just it, the team player factor. And because of that, they're perhaps going to win the treble. Man City. So I think best signing. Best signing for me. And
I wouldn't disagree with that. For me, For me, I think I've mentioned his name. I mentioned his team many times over the course of this season's podcast, right? His name is Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. Oh, finally got it right.
Yeah, finally got it right.
Yeah. To me, I think he is the reason why Napoli are being Napoli this season, right? Okay. It's because of him that kind of sparked the chemistry between Victor Osimhen. So it's his first season here. Previously, and all his footballing career, right, was back in his hometown of Georgia, his home country of Georgia, and also in Russia. So because of the war, he had to leave his Russian club, and Napoli snapped him up as a 22-year-old, as a 21-year-old for that matter, right? So, and to come into a foreign league, he basically just tore it up.
Wow.
Right? He tore it up. I mean, we have seen his performances in the Champions League. We've seen his performance in the Serie A. We've seen his chemistry with Victor Osimhen. So to me, I think he is really the best signing. Better than so many others. I mean, there are a lot of candidates. I mean, I know you are going to say the feeling, but I just want to give a shout out to some other candidates. I think Kim Min-jae also has been a fantastic signing for Napoli. I think Julian Alvarez has been fantastic for City. Casemiro has been fantastic for United. I think United are where they are because of Casemiro, in my opinion. Really. You talk about Newcastle.
Okay.
You have Nick Pope. You have Botman. Right. Newcastle this season are the joint team for the lowest number of goals conceded with Man City at 32.
Wow.
Last year they conceded 62. So
but this year improved.
Exactly. So there are a lot of candidates, I agree. But I think in terms of impact, in terms of what impact plus the achievements, I think Kvaratskhelia wins hands down. Okay. That's my opinion.
Okay. And then the next one, team of the year. Now, who's going to be the team of the year for you? I'm going to go with Brighton for mine. Only because Brighton is, they're decked with a lot of problems at the start. As we said, Potter is leaving, and therefore the new guy came in, and then players started leaving, and nobody really saw them to be contending. And as I've said, I mean, they contended well, and they do deserve to be where they are. And to me, team of the year. Why I didn't choose Man City? Because Man City is touted to win anyway. So, it's like not a surprise. Whereas for Brighton, everyone's like, they're not going to make it, If my team goes up against Brighton, I'm probably going to win. But nope, that's not the case this season. So therefore, team of the year, Brighton. Okay. And yours?
I'm just going to obvious. I'm going Man City. Why? Oh. So, I see where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from. But if we look at it objectively, right? Like how I decided that De Zerbi probably deserves the best manager because I looked at expectations versus achievements. Right. But if I look objectively at it really, so best team. So what qualifies as the best team is how consistent you are.
Okay.
How much entertainment you bring to the game, and then what kind of value you bring to the game.
Okay.
Right? And to me, I think Man City just wins hands down for all this.
Wow.
I mean, you think about it, the players they brought in, what Pep has done in Man City. I know a lot of people say without money, Pep is nothing, right? He cannot bring a club like Millwall, to the Champions League and all those, or even Wrexham up. But in my opinion, if you think through his Barca teams and even now the City teams, right? I'm just going to give two instances where he kind of influenced football. I'm talking about influencing the game of football.
In general, okay.
He basically created the false nine, right?
Okay.
I think you might disagree with me, but I think Pep was the one that created this false nine position that everybody copied. And in more recent games, I mentioned it in one of the episodes about his new 3-2-4-1 hybrid kind of formation. Now everybody is also doing that, right? Arsenal is also copying it. Klopp is also copying it, and it's working wonders for them, right? So, in my opinion, I think what Pep has done with City and how City has evolved again. I'm using this word a lot this season, but I think it really showed. Grealish has matured so much, and how he, despite losing his core team, right? He lost company. He lost Aguero. David Silva left. Fernandinho retired, and you think how are they going to replace them?
Yep.
Grealish came up. He was so good that Sterling had to be sold to Chelsea. Akanji, probably another candidate for signing of the season. Akanji has been superb this season. So you think about it, it's fantastic, right? How they have remained so consistent, and I don't know. To me, Man City today,
and therefore that concludes why Man City is your team of the year.
Correct.
And then we spoke about the signings, because we spoke about the teams. But what about the most memorable moment or game for you?
What's yours? Why don't you say first?
Mine's plain and simple. I think, again, at the end of the day, we watch football because of that X factor, because of the atmosphere, because of the pool of the game. And I just want to pull this one out. It is not Liverpool, because pool. It is Wrexham versus Notts County. I think that particular game just got everyone's attention, and everyone genuinely got excited for Wrexham. And if you were a Notts County fan, you were also genuinely excited.
Yep.
Yeah, so I thought that was a memorable one. You had Ben Foster who was vlogging it. You had everybody talking about it.
Yes.
You had everybody just feeling for that penalty when there was that penalty. So every moment of it didn't even feel like a non-league kind of thing.
Exactly.
It felt like as
yes,
if it was
you
a
are
professional
right.
one.
I got to agree with you there.
So,
sorry if I just chime in.
Please.
I think that game kind of showed everybody what football really means.
Correct.
Really
correct.
I think the what's happening in the Premier League has been over commercialized and all. It's become a business. But the game between Wrexham and Notts County, it kind of brought us back to our senses. To realize that, hey, this is why we love football so much.
And if I may add it, this is why we want to be in the stadium live. Because now in most of the big matches, you just want to be correct watching from the sofa.
Yes, the atmosphere.
So that's mine. Wrexham versus Notts County.
Yeah. So
what's going to be yours?
touching on the bring us back to basics, right? Coming to basics, why we love football so much. I think at the end of the day, football also helps to inspire people. Isn't it? They've inspired millions and millions of children out of poverty, out of whatever reasons. And to me, I think along the same line, I think the fact that Sebastian Haller came back from cancer. He actually beat cancer. So for those that do not know, Haller signed for Dortmund this season. But at the start of the season in July, he was diagnosed with a cancer. And he was out for 6 months. He had to undergo chemo and all those stuff. But back in January, right, he started to make his comeback. And in February, he made his debut. He finally made his debut 6 months after signing. And this was after cancer. And today, he has already played in 18 games and scored 9 goals.
Wow, after cancer.
Yes. And now he's just, Dortmund, as I mentioned earlier, just 1 win away from winning the Bundesliga.
That's in your face cancer. I'm just letting you know.
Exactly. So to me, it's like, if this is not the most inspirational moment of the whole season, I don't know what is.
Okay.
Yeah. So to me, football really inspires, and I think this is a fantastic, a story to inspire people.
Yeah. What a nice way to conclude. So there you have it. Those were our opinions. Those were our views.
Yep.
We're going to give you more in our next segment, and that one's called
What's What with
Who's Who. We'll see you for that one. Don't forget to subscribe, yeah? What's up, my man? No. I'll just stick to the normal one. Hello, people, and this is the segment we want to call the
What's What with Who's Who.
If for some reason you skip to this part, we are the 442 dudes, and we're all the way from Singapore, filming in Tampines.
Not Tampines.
We just want to bring that part up.
Yep.
But now we want to focus on areas around the world of football, and let's go with one.
Yes.
And I think that one is so recent, I have to just say it very quickly. Not just quickly, but have to be at the start. It's the racism bit with Real Madrid, okay? And as well as Valencia. Yeah?
Yes. Yeah. So what about it?
Well, I mean, what happened was that, and this was what John showed me earlier before the entire recording. So I saw a video of Vinicius Jr., okay? So there was a little bit of scuffle going on and didn't really see what happened. But what happened next? All right. What happened next was suddenly, VAR was called for, and what they were showing in the VAR screen was Vinicius Jr. doing some form of slap or sort of a punch to one of the Valencia dudes. So they kept replaying that, like pa, pa, and then because of that there was a red card. But what the TV showed us, there was a prior to that sort of incident, was that he was actually choked.
So if you can see on the screen right now, the picture is shown that he was actually choked.
Yeah.
And if you watch the video,
what the fuck?
He actually punched off the guy immediately after managing to wrangle free from his chokehold. So if you, let me ask you this question: if someone chokes you from behind, what would your response be?
Exactly, you
really?
I mean, you're not gonna say thanks for choking me. You know what I mean? You're not gonna do that. I mean, someone's choking you.
Some people are like, I don't know.
I mean, no, I don't know lah. What happens? But for this case, I mean, he got choked.
Yes.
And it was already such an intense atmosphere.
Correct.
The intense part of the hour of the game. I mean, who wouldn't react the way he did? Yeah, you could say, he could have been calmer. But still, why? And this is where I go. Why did they not show the prior footage before that slap? Which leads us to
the next thing, right?
Yeah.
So there is this, I wouldn't say conspiracy theory, but there's this theory that the VAR referees or all the staff that was on duty in VAR, they are just being racist.
Yeah, and they got sacked anyway.
Yeah, and so the fun fact, the update is that all 6 of them got sacked. They got sacked because of that. And it's not just about them. I think this whole topic of racism came out also because there were a few Valencia fans who were racially abusing Vinicius. And it's not just one game. It's been happening over the whole season. Vinicius himself has been bringing it up time and time again, but nothing has been done. I think it's not just him, right? I think Sterling in the last few years also came out, fighting against racism and all. And Vinicius also came out to say on his Instagram, they say it is normal. It's not the first time, not the second or the third, right? It's actually, it feels like as if it's normal in La Liga, but nothing's been done. Nothing has been done prior to this incident. But what I'm very happy about is that it has been an outpouring of support for Vinicius.
Thank goodness.
Right. So if I was looking at all the pictures, the Rafinha came out with support. Took off his shirt, showed his support for Vinicius. Not just them. The Real Madrid against Valladolid, right? The next game. They all wore Vinicius jersey to come up for the warm-up before the pre-match.
Stood in unity sort of thing.
Not just them. The Real Madrid female team did the same thing. The Real Madrid basketball team did the same thing. They all wore Vinicius Junior's jersey just before their very next games after this incident.
What a message.
I loved it. And you've seen on social, so many players have come out in support for Vinicius. Mbappe's one there, Saka's one there. Rio Ferdinand was very, very vocal. Was very vocal about it. So I'm really very happy to see it. And I think that the crowning moment, right, was there was a picture that was being captured.
Oh, what picture was that?
This picture was shown that Vinicius was actually seated next to Fiorentina Perez.
Wow, that's quite something.
I mean, if you think about it, right? To me, this picture sends a very, very powerful message to La Liga.
Wow.
It shows that Perez says, this is my player. I'm supporting my player. Don't mess with me.
Yeah.
Really, don't mess with me.
Wow.
So to me, that is very, very powerful. And I love that picture. I really love that picture. Honestly.
I mean, that just shows, unity. And we've been rambling about it all the time. But football is just like that. Whatever scuffle that is. I mean, remember, we're all here to play football. We're all here to enjoy the sportsmanship of football.
Yes.
And we're all here because we love that whole atmosphere of football. So I mean, racism aside, come on, people. Just enjoy the game.
Correct.
And he's a fantastic player for Real Madrid.
Exactly. He's been fantastic this season. But speaking of love for football, I think this brings us to the next thing that we want to bring up.
What's the next one?
So recently, I think Phil Jones was actually offered a testimonial by Manchester United.
Okay.
Correct?
Okay.
But he rejected the testimonial.
Why?
And his reason is very simple. He said that I'm rejecting it because I think only my family will turn up. I'm not sure whether he meant it as a joke.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know. I see this as a very sad episode because to me, it just showed that this professional footballer has kind of given up on the game, which is very, very
That's
sad.
What you think. Okay.
Because he loves football. That's why he's a professional, right?
Yes.
Right? He did well for his hometown club, Blackburn.
Yep.
And then Sir Alex Ferguson actually spotted the potential and bought him over.
Yep.
I still remember when Ferguson bought him, he said this Phil Jones is going to be at the core of our team in the future for United. He is going to be a very, very important player for United in the future. But obviously things didn't work out that way. And to see him, stating that I don't want because I don't think anybody will turn up.
Yeah.
I just feel very sad.
Yeah. Even as a non-Man United fan, I still think there will be people to go.
Ferguson will definitely turn up. And who's to say that Blackburn fans won't turn up, right?
And maybe former players as well.
Exactly.
If you ask me, I think former players as well. So.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is one to me it's a bit sad lah.
Yeah, it is. But you know what, Phil Jones, we're not United fans, but still big hearts to you. Hopefully you find love in the next club. Yeah, so that was Phil Jones, and last but not least, what is it?
I think there's something that's taking place right now. Maybe many of you do not know.
Okay.
But the FIFA Under-20 World Cup is currently taking place in Argentina.
Oh, I also don't know.
Yes. So there are a total of 24 teams. But what I want to say about these 24 teams is that you have countries who are participating, which you will probably never see in the senior game.
Confirm not Singapore.
Yes.
Sorry, I just had to say that.
If you're wondering why I just started to suddenly shut up, watch the previous episode. Anyway, so let me just mention some of the teams. Okay, so some of the teams that I thought very surprising to see in this Under-20 World Cup are Fiji. Fiji's inside. New Zealand's inside. The Dominican Republic's inside. Gambia, Guatemala, Honduras, Iraq, and Uzbekistan. So these teams, I don't think these are teams that you will see in a senior game or at least in the environment. So I don't know. I see this. I hope that this bodes well for those countries. And then hopefully, as they expand the number of teams for the World Cup, we get to see these teams in the senior game as well.
And I think it's like a chance to explore new talents.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you never know who's
embrace more cultures.
Yeah, that's right. I think it'd just be cool to see perhaps like a Ubek in the EPL, for example.
Say again.
Ubek.
Oh. Okay.
Oh,
Uzbek, I think.
Dashiki.
I don't think it's a Ubek. I think it's Uzbek.
Actually, it's Uzbek or something. But it doesn't matter. The dashiki power is done.
Speaking of cultures, I mean, if any Nigerian friends watching out there, I apologize if you feel that we are dissing you and all, but we just really want to embrace the cultures and all.
We are.
Right. So, so that concludes our last episode for this season.
But we part at the same time, we have a special episode that's coming up. Okay, so just stick around for that one. But just make sure you subscribe. Then you have a notification. But really, this is our last episode. So thank you everyone for following us.
Yes, thank you so much.
442
Dudes,
and I'm Ben.
I'm John,
and it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Don't forget about season 2.
That's right. Season 2 will kickstart next season when all the other professional leagues start. Yeah. But before we go, stay tuned for the next special episode where we will focus on the FA Cup final.
An exclusive.
Ooh, exclusive.
We're not scamming you. I just want to repeat that. I would just have to repeat that.
Okay. See you next week.
Yeah. This is the part where they say, stop. Fine.